lot of patience, cause you never rush great. This one's for the record, but going down history in the making. Hey, y'all, the Prophet, Charlie Black, a deadly combination. It's been long overdue, I know the streets been waiting. Which takes a lot of patience, cause you never rush great. This was for the record, but going down history in the making. First it was Elijah Muhammad, now we the honorable black prophet. We been in our bag and out of our feelings, securing all the profit. And going outside, don't know what you hearing, so miss me with that gossip. Saying sucker free from mop shit, let someone get out of pocket. Whoa, we come from different walks of life, but relate to the same cause. Silent live a fight, laid up behind them hospital walls. They focus like the face, but like syringes sharper than a knife. Take a cookie from the jar, grind it, wrap it in the raw. YBT would stay loyal, no damn miss a prop. Shots to my producers, King Jones and Sahab. Hey, y'all with the alley-oop, I threw him up a lot. Far from a corny nigga, I'm the hottest shot of cop. I had to boss up for a check, move my fam up out the jets, draft some key players in my set, sauce with a blue cheese, dab a ranch. I am a club member, you a guest. Speak of my name, better put respect. Step up to me, gotta come correct. Fuck who got now, or who got up next? Yeah. Hey, y'all, the Prophet, Charlie Black, a deadly combination. It's been long overdue, I know the streets been waiting. Which takes a lot of patience, cause you never rush great. This one's for the record, but going down history in the making. Hey, y'all, the Prophet, Charlie Black, a deadly combination. It's been long overdue, I know the streets been waiting. Which takes a lot of patience, cause you never rush great. This was for the record, but going down history in the making.
Hey, y'all, the Prophet, Charlie Black, Black Prophet, that's a fact. Going down in history, and it's a fact. It's a deadly combo, niggas know that. Prophet, that's a fact. Black Prophet, from the bottom of the map. Atlanta, Georgia to Florida. We up in them waters, it's on, bruh. Black Prophet, that's a fact. Deadly combination, y'all got it at. They ain't ready for that shit, Charlie Black. Let's give it to him, bruh. Welcome. Black Prophet. Yeah. Two young brothers from the same struggle, from the same blood, from the same mud. Black Prophet, that's a fact. AR and Charlie Black, boy, that's some crack. Black Prophet, now that's a fact. AR and Charlie Black, well, we back to back. Black Prophet, it's a deadly combo. I know. Deadly combo. Charlie Black, AR the Prophet, ho.
Hello everybody, hope you guys are doing well today with this fall transition. We are here again with part 2 of our open mic, of our annual open mic, and of course Jennifer is joining us from Zoom this time, so welcome.
Hey, I couldn't hear you guys before, but I can hear you now.
Good.
So I'm sorry I'm not in the studio with you all, but I see you guys look comfortable there, and I'm glad Candis is able to join us today in the studio, and we get to be blessed by her words. So Candis, you guys, if no one has heard of her, she goes by the name of C.Saint, which I think is an awesome pen name.
Thank you.
And she's a wonderful, wonderful poet, so she's here to bless us with some of her work and tell us a little bit about her story and to talk about what she does and how she spreads awareness in her daily life.
Yeah.
Hi everyone, I'm so excited to be in the studio. I've been wanting to be on the show, Ricky, and I'm finally here. So, like Jen said, I'm Candis St.John, aka C.Saint, which is, if you didn't catch it, it's just an abbreviated version of my name, C.Saint. And that's a nickname someone gave to me, and it just kind of stuck.
Nice.
So I have sickle cell, and I'm also a nurse, so I get to see things from both sides, and I guess poetry is my way of it's my way of releasing my feelings and my frustrations. So I started writing poetry in middle school. Okay. I just always loved poetry. Because it rhymes. I just like symmetrical things. It's just like, it makes sense to me.
Yeah.
So I've been writing since middle school, but I never really shared it with anyone.
Okay.
And then I guess over the years, people were like, you should publish, you should do this spoken word and open mic, and I'm like, nah, fam.
So let me ask you, how long did it take for you to actually publish or get up the gumption to even perform?
I had performed here and there. I mean, not really perform, but I guess in class, they make you write in class, and of course my teachers, they're like, you're so good, and but as far as performing, I started at open mic nights like Apache Cafe, where I feel like it's cool because nobody knew me. So I don't know. Some people might be nervous by that, but I feel better because
I get it.
They don't know me. They can judge me, but it's like,
so what?
Yeah.
Right. I get it though. I get it.
But I feel like if you get the applause and the approval of Apache, you can make it anywhere.
Okay.
I love Apache. I
yeah.
used to there, but I still never worked up the courage to
I feel like it's a safe space. They're very respectful.
They feel like a safe space.
Like Apollo, they brush you off the stage.
Right.
They don't do that.
At least at Apache, everybody's gonna at least
shout out to Apache Cafe. Thanks for giving us the applause and the snaps. Appreciate that.
I loved it there. I really did. So you said you finally got up the nerve to at least publish because people were pushing you to do it.
Mm-hmm.
And I think it takes a lot of vulnerability.
Mm-hmm.
And for me personally, I think I kind of stay closed off to a certain degree, especially with my work.
Oh, for sure. I'm a closed off person in general.
But I'm a writer, though. I can write, all day. But, to perform it, even at previous open mics, the first time you came, I was like, oh, this girl is dope. Jennifer, you saw her?
Thank you.
Wow. So bomb. Like, the way her delivery was great. This is great. Her book is great. It was just no way that we didn't want to see you go further and to support you in whatever you did, because you were just so dope when you came there.
Right.
Not knowing us, just coming out there and leaving it on the floor. It was just I want to be like you when I grow up.
Right. right.
Thank you guys.
Boom. She came and showed us out. But that's okay. I loved it.
Thank you.
So it's just being open with that and freeing with that, I'm sure, helps on so many levels, with maybe even with your personal life too. But you write about your feelings, and I'm sure what you go through with sickle cell through your poetry, right?
Yes.
So is there a poem that you have strictly dedicated to sickle cell or no?
I do. I was going to say that one for later.
Okay, you're going to save that one for
later. Close out
later.
sickle cell. We're in this month with that one. And I have a few, but that is the one. And I really poured it all out there. Right. And I said, I'm just going to leave that. And it's going to be just one. Okay. And that's enough for me.
Okay. So that's like a mic drop moment.
Yeah, I didn't want to keep talking about it. I just... Because it's my life.
I got you.
And I just wanted to put it all into this one piece, and that's the one.
I've thought before about writing. Well, I have written a letter to sickle cell before, but I want to write a breakup letter.
Oh, that's dope.
To sickle cell.
I like that.
And just listen. It's over.
Yeah.
The end.
I wrote a letter to sickle cell in my book.
You have to be really specific about what you mean when you say we're through, though, words have power.
Right. You're right.
They do.
You're right. So, just being open and vulnerable in those moments, it's healing in a sense. Mm-hmm. And you poured your healing into 2 of your books. That's just a part of your healing.
Yes. Yeah, can I plug?
Yes.
I have 2 books here. This is my first one. It's called My Book of Tears, and this one came out this year, actually. Yeah, it was this year, February. This is called Dare My Soul to Sing. So I'm gonna do a piece from each. They're both available on Amazon, and check them out. I also have an album. It's called the Mixed Messages Mixtape, and that's available on pretty much every streaming service. You can download that on like Apple Music, iTunes,
Awesome, girl.
all the other fun ones. So support an artist.
Yes, support the art.
Your first one,
Mhm.
I often find myself reading from your first one.
Oh wow.
Like when I'm in crisis sometimes.
Oh wow.
Like, just as a distraction method for myself. And I can relate to so many things that you have in there, not just the stuff about sickle cell or whatever, just what you've written in there and just poured out your heart. And so definitely, before we close out, give people more information about it again. So anyone who didn't hear at the beginning, if they tune in later, they can find out where they can get your stuff.
Absolutely. Yeah, I wrote, it's funny, like, I have family members, and they said when they read the book, because like I said, I'm real quiet and real private. My friends might not think I'm quiet, but I'm real private. And, like, I appreciate you saying that, because these books are not for me. And I had to get out of my own way and say it could help someone else. So that's really what drove me to publish. Because it's not about me. Me keeping these things in my journal or my diary is not going to help anyone.
Right.
So that's the main thing that drove me to publish. Because I was so scared, but I was like, I remember the first one, I wrote it, typed it up, boom, boom, got the cover, everything. I was like, nope.
Right.
And then one day I woke up and I was like, just hit the button. Just hit the button.
Hit the button.
And I hit the button and that was it. It's out there.
I'm glad you did.
Thank you. So you just have to, even when I perform, it's like you just do it.
Yeah.
It's not for me.
Yeah, you're right. That
It
makes a lot of
heals
sense.
me, but it's not for me.
It makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
So let's hear your first one.
All right, I'm gonna just keep this close because it's been a long day.
Okay.
But
do what you gotta do.
So my first piece, I'm trying to come off the top of the head for both of these like a true professional. But please don't judge me too harshly if I can't.
They not.
So for my Dare My Soul to Sing that I published this year, this one is called Can I Live? And I wrote this in light of, all of the shootings and the killings and the tragedies. It's frustrating. And that's why I write, because I'm angry and frustrated and I just got to get it out there. So this is called Can I Live? You reach out to touch my hair, the crown upon my head, the literal representation of my roots hanging down with pride. Can I live? You admire our bodies from a distance, pimp them out for your entertainment. Asses on screens, chiseled bodies on the 50-yard lines in the basketball court. But do you know the cost? You spend thousands of dollars to replicate, dissect us with every step we take in this cold world that doesn't want us, yet you desire us. You desperately want to be us. Our glowing skin, our ample bosom, the rounded backside that was so graciously passed down by our ancestors. Genetics are free, but do you know the cost? You love the culture without the color. All you see is something nice to wear. All you hear is a dope new beat. You leech off our cool indifference, our swagger, our creativity and ingenuity, our strength and tenacity, our resilience to overcome, but do you know the cost? The whips and the lashes, the sweat and the tears, the blood and the bruises, do you know the cost? Bodies in oceans, bodies toiling under the hot southern sun, black bodies hanging from trees, swaying in the breeze like the ripest of fruit. Do you know the cost? Hoses at full blast, tear gas and dogs, smoke and fire, beatings and bullets. Do you know the cost? Do you know the rhythm in our reggae, the pain in our soul, the story in our jazz, the weeping in our blues? Our tears have value, But as you very well know, everything in this capitalist society is for sale. But do you know the cost? Fathers in jail, mothers overdosed, babies orphaned to the streets, sisters on the corner, brothers locked up, bodies struck down, blood on the concrete. I said blood on the concrete. Do you know the cost? Can I live in this black skin, broad nose, full lips, Nazi dreads, head up, crown high? I refuse to be involved in this cultural genocide. I simply won't comply. You cannot have the culture without the color. You need to know the cost. Comprehend the price that has been paid. All that has been taken from us. All that we have lost. You need to know the cost so that I can live. So tell me, can I live? Thank you. Thank you.
That was absolutely amazing, and it sounds very familiar to the writings that I have about everything that's going on. Because, like you said, we're angry, we're frustrated, and I feel frustrated a lot of times because I can't help. I'm a helper by nature, but it's like I don't know what to do.
Yeah.
I don't know what else I can do because I feel like what me and Jennifer do with this helps in a sense, but I don't know what else to do. You know?
You kind of feel stuck.
Yeah.
I think anyone who's a writer in this time is feeling overwhelmed and just upset because we have so many feelings about what's going on every day, and it's like where to put them. Like I have more feelings in a day now than I ever had before.
Yeah.
It's like we're riding a roller coaster.
Yeah. And I have to remove myself. Like I really just can't watch the news.
Oh,
like,
no, I don't watch the news.
I can't. And I know I need to keep up with what's going on, but I can't.
I refuse.
Right.
Even social media is too much.
It's too much.
It's just nonstop. They call it trauma porn.
That's what it is.
It's endless visuals. It's like, why do I want to see that? I don't want to keep seeing. I understand it.
Yeah.
And it's dramatic.
It is.
But I read a post and it said, artists and poets, like, this is your time because the voices need to be heard. There's a lot of people out there in the world who feeling these feelings and they feel like they don't know what to say or how to say it. But that's why we're here as artists, as poets, as writers, because we can find the words and put them together. So that was really inspiring when I read that post. I was like, wow.
Yeah. And if we can't find the words, people like Miles Davis plays it on his trumpet.
And you can feel it.
You
they
can put
say
it on your
music
saxophone,
is the universal language.
Right.
So, yeah.
You can definitely feel it. And what Miles Davis has done for jazz music and just music, period, it has been so influential. And that's why we decided to honor him. We also honored him last year at our open mic at the Apex Museum with another painting that we had that Khadijah Graham painted for us. But I got stuck with that. But yeah.
Well, you can let everyone know though, this one is available for auction as well.
It's a dope piece of art.
Link is, if you're watching us online, the link is available on Facebook Live.
Yes, please. And please stay tuned to our social media so you can see if you want or not. So yes, definitely check this out. Miles Davis was just a very awesome musician.
And everyone didn't know that he had sickle cell. So
right.
That's the whole point of why we're honoring him.
Right.
Yes.
In my head, I'm like, duh, but everybody doesn't know that.
Yeah, I was telling me, I watched there was a documentary about him on Netflix, and I was surprised. I don't think they mentioned it at all.
It's hidden.
It's kind of frustrating.
It is.
It's like I feel like we're invisible, but it's like we're aliens. Like we're out there. Like there are known people who have had sickle cell, and nobody knows.
Right.
And
Right,
even
like,
people within the
Black
community are looking for heroes, you know,
Yeah.
and they don't know that they are here.
Yeah, they're out here.
Yeah.
And they're able to do amazing things even with sickle cell. I saw a quote where Miles Davis said he doesn't consider himself an artist. He just plays the music and people like it.
Yeah.
And
I
that's
feel
with
that way
that,
sometimes.
right.
Most times.
And a lot of times it's like,
Yeah.
here you go, and people are like, oh,
I
that's
know.
nice.
Like, I'm surprised.
Right. So he said he just plays and people like it. And I think that sometimes, a lot of times, we have to have that mindset.
Yeah.
Just do us. Just do what feels good. And we need to incorporate a lot of feel good moments, especially having sickle cell, because we just deal with so much of disease and outside of the disease.
Right.
So I want to make sure I stay on time.
Yeah.
Don't worry, I got you.
Thank you, Jennifer.
Yeah. Because that's like my second book. You can, if you read them both, you can really see the growth. Like, I stopped censoring myself. I really cared what people think. I didn't want to offend anybody or bring shame on my family name or whatever. But my second book, I was like, you know what? I'm just going to say what I feel.
Yeah.
And if you like it, you like it. If you're down with it, you're down. If you're not, you know, it is what it is.
Right.
But I just had to get it out in the way I wanted to say it.
Nice.
Yeah.
So with that said, I'm going
for everyone.
say
Like,
that
when you
again.
stop censoring yourself, you find that there's something that someone is going to resonate with, like, out of that. When you just put yourself out there and you don't wonder about, like, how it's going to be received, I think it's received even more.
Yeah, I agree with you.
So with that said, I'm going to
Hear
read
his voice.
my I'm going to read my poem.
Read it. Do not be ashamed.
So, okay, see, I'm already nervous, and okay, it's called "The Pastor and the Plug."
Okay.
If you know, you know.
That's a dope title.
Thank you. So it's a follow up to the poem I did the last show, which was called "A Blessing and a Curse." So this is kind of like the follow up to that. So. Just finished doing a bid in hospital jail, 3 meals in a cot, and I'm banned to my cell. Step out the bed, and I sound the alarm. Got nurses running to my aid, need the bed disarmed. You finished your bid, and arms looking like a junkie. No wonder they be calling us some motherfucking druggies. It's attacking my spine, the very backbone of living. If there is a way, then I am the one that is willing. Not only messing up my veins, but also my brain. It's time for me to get home to fire up Mary Jane. IVs to handcuffs, Zovran for spit-ups, Benadryl for itch-ups. This here is too much. Doc's trying to pump me with drugs, but ain't no time just to play with them. Eat leafy greens, drink lots of water, and I'll be replacing them. It is clouding my sight, but not disrupting my vision, because healing myself is my current mission. Don't be feeling 100 until the tape wear off. Try to peel it and it takes my damn skin clear off. These super cells, I bounce back as quick as they disintegrate. Drugs got me so messed up that I can't even defecate. This herb helps with withdrawals, got my appetite back. Called the pastor up to help get my mind on track. Felt the spirit lift me up, then I'm back and I'm better. And I'm grateful for the voice to recite this letter. Talk to my sis when I have the deepest conversations. Bring everything back to life and remember who is greater. Wouldn't be as great as I am if it wasn't because of you. I keep shedding the past and becoming anew. 'Cause there ain't no stopping all of this black girl magic. I can be sweet as pie or I can be ratchet. Tomatoes, I beat that ass like pinatas. Then grab some H2O and then we popping some bottles. QTP said you the heartbeat of this community. Peace and love is what we need in order to have unity. Looks are deceiving, so people can't see the earth shine. Don't see the howling at the moon, but only the bright side. I am the light in the darkness, rainbow after the storm. Get a little bit closer and watch me transform. My simple touch could be medicine for your soul, because living light should be the end goal.
Turn up.
Thank
See, that's why you need different perspectives, because you can talk about that. I cannot partake as a nurse. You know what I'm saying?
I understand.
I cannot and do not.
I understand. And what was crazy for me is that working the job that I had, even though medical marijuana was okay in Georgia, it was a federal job. Mm-hmm. So I still couldn't partake in it. And it was crazy because it's like, oh, so you want me to come to work, take the morphine and the Percocet, and fall asleep at your desk? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. You can pay me for that. So I just thought that was really, really crazy. So I get it.
It's really damned if you do, damned if you don't.
Right.
Because it's like these chemicals. It's like, I mean, as a nurse, I understand, and I feel like I'm trapped in the system.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of us do. And it's like you want to do better, but it's like you keep getting stuck, and it's like, it's just chemicals upon chemicals in your body. Yeah. And that's really all I think about sometimes. And I mean, you can't let it consume you, but it's just hard to break out of it sometimes.
Right. So I'm sure you have a very unique perspective from a nurse that has sickle cell. Mm-hmm. Let me give this number out for those who want to call in and ask me or ask Candis, a nurse with sickle cell, any questions. 470-251-4647. That's 470-251-4647. So explain a little bit more about being in the middle.
It's tricky. I mean, for years, I've been a nurse now. This is my lucky number 7 year. Okay. In the beginning, I didn't tell anyone. So I feel like I was kind of like a mole, a spy. Because I would hear the conversations, and I didn't say anything for a long time. It's just because people think we're making this up, like the stereotypes, like we're being victimized in the healthcare system, and that they don't care about us. But it's true. It's kind of true. There are a lot of people who do believe these things. Yeah. And I was telling me, I won't, shout them out, but I was reading a thread on a popular page the other day where people, I guess someone said sickle cell patients are needy and manipulative or something like that. But, I mean, we're people. And that's why I don't like labels. I say in my poem, like, I'm not a sickler. I don't like labels because labels are meant to separate people and usually to judge them or persecute them. Right. So when you start slapping labels on people and they say, oh, I don't treat them any type of way, but it's like, you do. So you think, so you are, is what they say. Yeah. So these are the thoughts that are in your head. It's gonna come out. Yeah. And I've seen it as a nurse, and I've felt it as a patient. Mm. There are some cold-hearted, just like nurses, that's a label. All nurses they're not bad. Right. They're not. I've had a ton of great nurses, a ton of great doctors, but I've had some pretty crappy ones too.
You can curse, Candis.
It's not. I told you I'm gonna try to behave today. We'll see though. I can't make any promises.
That's why I just let you know.
I'm real passionate about this, but there are some who they completely lack empathy. It's like, you can read my chart. Yeah. Like I said, there are some patients who are that way. Yeah. But there are patients with any type of disorder or disease that are that way. But for some reason, we get pigeonholed, and we compare. It's like hemonc is hematology versus oncology, sickle cell versus cancer. And you see it, people say we're spoiled in the children's hospital. But even in the children's hospital, you can see the difference in how they treat the sickle cell patients versus how they treat the cancer patients. And I hate to say it, I hate to put it to you this real, but it's true. Even the social worker, she made a joke because the other social worker got a new iPad. She was like, I didn't get no iPad. This is how they do us. So even in the profession, they're discriminating against the professionals who are treating the sickle cell patients as well as the patients. Yeah, it's just cold. And then, when it's funny, one time they were having a conversation, and I told some of my coworkers I had sickle cell, and so a lot of them found out from reading my book that I had sickle cell. You don't want to be judged. You don't want people to see you as less than. That's my personal issue. Yeah. I struggle with, and so I just never told anyone Till one time, you disappear. That's when people start asking the questions. You disappear for a little too long. And a lot of them thought I was pregnant, so I had to go ahead and quickly tell them why I was really
Shut that down.
Yeah, I definitely wasn't pregnant, but I went ahead and told a few of them, and they were stunned. And even when some of the conversations but like I said, it's not about me. Right. It's about everyone else.
Yeah.
And through those conversations, I was able to educate a lot of my coworkers and say, hey, you can't treat... In nursing school, I learned, shout out to the Panthers at Georgia State University, but you learn you don't treat numbers, you don't treat diagnoses, you treat the person that's in front of you. Yeah. So they'll see a hemoglobin or a retake and be like, oh, they're not in a crisis. Did you think I showed up here for fun?
Right.
For shits and giggles?
Right.
This is so much fun to me. Like, especially with my healthcare providers, I'm like, and most of the time I don't tell them I'm a nurse, they just kind of figure it out, but I'm like, I have things I need to do. Like, even when I was in college, I'm a student, I'm a nurse, I don't want to be here. Yeah. This is not fun. Yeah. This is not a show. I would love to be an actress, but I'm not that good. I mean, I'm not playing. Yeah. I'm crying, I can barely move. I remember one nurse, she was trying to rush me to change into the gown, and I'm like, I literally cannot take my clothes off and put this gown on.
Right.
But it's like they're so cold.
It's like you're being dramatic.
Yeah.
Right.
And they're just so wrapped up in the stereotype that you can't see the person that's laying in front of you.
Right.
And that's what frustrates me about these stereotypes, because it's like, yes, there are stereotypes, and my belief, as controversial as it may be, a lot of stereotypes are based in the truth. A lot of them, or there's truth to them, I could say. But you still don't make that control the way that you're behaving, or control the way that you're thinking. You can keep it in the back of your head if you want, but you don't treat people a certain way because of what you heard, or your coworker told you, oh, this one, he's always here. You hear it. Right. I hear it all the time. I'm not just a nurse, I'm an ER nurse. Mm-hmm. So a lot of sickle cell patients are familiar with the emergency room, as am I. So and it's just funny how it worked out in my life that I landed there. Yeah. Because I had no intention of being an ER nurse.
I was going to ask you that.
It just needed to happen, I think. Yeah. It needed to happen.
Yeah. It's funny that you talk about, the discrepancy between the way that they treat us. So, I don't know, I've mentioned it on the show a few times that I'm on one of the new medications that the FDA approved. And, I get it every month. So, you get it every month. They know I'm coming in every month for it. However, I get there, I'm waiting for 2 hours, and then someone's like, your medication isn't here. So I'm like, wait, what? Like, it's not here? Like, you didn't even order it? And I said to them, I said, now when in the history of someone getting chemo has someone ever come and their chemotherapy?
That thing is on time by the second.
Yes. Right.
Second.
I was like, this is so unacceptable. This is like the most unacceptable thing. And of course, it's like, you don't want to make a scene because then you're that patient. You're that, what they're calling you. But at the same time, you have to stand up for yourself and let them know, like, this is not okay. This is not okay. It's not okay to treat me like this. It's not okay to put me on the back burner like this. And now I can't even say anything because you're going to judge me for it.
Right. And I feel like we have to be, and I made a post about this, I feel like we have to be the most mild-mannered.
You have to be everything.
You know what I'm saying?
The perfect patient. Because they think you're the imperfect patient. So you have to try so hard.
The cancerous patients
Everyone
are
is imperfect. That's human nature. But it's like they expect you to be something.
Yeah.
I remember I had a nurse, she was like, wow, you're so nice.
I get that too.
I was like, wow. I mean, it's crazy. I mean, there's different types of people in every culture, every race, everything. But it's like we get so pigeonholed, and you hate to make it about race, but especially in the United States, especially in Atlanta, most of the patients that you see with sickle cell are black. It just is what it is. There are a lot of nurses who don't even know that is not a black disease.
Right.
I have never treated or seen, personally met a person with sickle cell who is white, but I know they exist. Right. I've met Hispanic, people who have sickle cell. I know when I was at camp one time, these doctors came over from Israel because they were created a camp for kids with sickle cell. So I know they're out there, but there are a lot of healthcare providers that really don't know that.
Yeah.
And so you want to think that it's not about race, but how can it not be a factor?
Someone asked me that today. Why do I think it's so pushed up under the rug? And I was just honest. That's what it is.
I think it's a big part of it.
Yeah, and that's a huge part of it.
I mean, you just can't. I feel like you can't take one without the other.
You can't.
You want to convince yourself that it's not a part of the way you do, why you do it. But of course it is.
Right.
It is.
Like, well, it's just because this or that and the other, but we really know like what the truth is.
Right.
And I really have. It took me telling my personal story to convince some people, my coworkers and other people, the facts. Good. It's like when I go to the hospital, my labs will be perfect until 2 days later. So when I'm in the ER, you're not going to see the 2-3 point drop in my hemoglobin or the retic go up. You're not going to see that, but you're going to want to send me home. The picture doesn't make sense.
Right.
But like I said, when I learned in school, you treat the person. We don't treat numbers. We don't treat vital signs. We treat the person that's in front of us. You take all those things into account.
Right.
But at the end of the day, if a person is wincing and crying out and they can barely move, but you want to say they're not in a crisis, that just doesn't make any sense.
Right. Wow. So what would you say to the warriors when they come to, because it's kind of flipping the script.
I get it from both sides.
Yes.
Even in the groups.
Yes.
Y'all, I see it. I mean, because I get hate as a patient in the hospital and I get hate as a healthcare worker from the warriors. So it's like, I'm really getting hit from both sides. But I feel like it shouldn't be your first instinct to get belligerent.
Yeah.
Healthcare workers we get a bad rap. But like I said, we're not all bad. I feel like most of us are good. And I feel like as patients, we don't give them a chance. They don't give us a chance. So when are we going to meet in the middle?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And also, it's kind of our own doing because it is you toe a line. You're like, I don't want to go to the hospital. So by the time you get to the hospital, you need that medicine now. And realistically speaking, it just doesn't happen that way.
Yeah.
And things go on behind the scenes. We're not lollygagging. I do feel like there should be better protocols as far as the emergency room. Because if there's a code stroke, there's a code sepsis, there's if you have a code STEMI, I feel like sickle cell disease should have its own code because it is a high acuity situation because you don't know what's going on with that patient.
Right.
Sickle cell patients have a history of dying very young, and in my opinion, dying unnecessarily because, like I said, a lot of people are treating stereotypes instead of treating the person in front of them. You don't know. They come in with shortness of breath, chest pain. That's a high acuity patient. They should be rushed to the back just like they're having a heart attack because they could be.
Yeah. Yeah.
They could be having a stroke. I have seen so many patients. I mean, I know people in the community, you guys post them who pass away. I've seen it in front of my face. Patients that I've seen and come to know, and I'm like, man, where's this passed away? And it's just very unfortunate that we're not taken seriously. Yeah. And maybe that they need to have more than just a page in the textbook and more than just one slide on the whole PowerPoint. There's 50 slides on the PowerPoint and one of them is about sickle cell. I feel like there needs to be more because it's very unfortunate and like I said, it's very unnecessary. Yeah. We do not need to be dying like this.
You're right.
But it's because people don't take it seriously.
You're right.
And I know that just from my education and from my experience. There's an acuity list and sickle cell should be high up on the list because you never know what's going to happen to that patient. They can turn just like that.
Right.
And what I have to say though, like, in my experience, so I've been going to the same facility since my son was born. He's 16. Is that it helps to really develop a good relationship and a good rapport with you. I'm always saying that.
Me too.
Like,
I'm like, get to know your doctors. Get to know your doctors. Because a lot of patients, we have to take accountability for ourselves. Yeah, I'm just going to put it that way. Yes. You do. And you can't just use, a lot of patients, not just sickle cell patients, but a lot of patients use the emergency room as your primary care doctor. And you can't do that. You need a primary care doctor. You need a hematologist. As a female, you need a gynecologist. There's a lot of doctors that you need, and you need to see them regularly and develop relationships with them. I moved to Georgia over 15 years ago. My primary care doctor is in Gwinnett County. I moved, but I still kept her because she's known me since I was like younger than 15 years old. Yeah. Why would I switch? That makes no sense. Right. So that is important. Like, healthcare workers are not out to get you, but you need to understand how to utilize the system in your favor.
I like how you said that.
And when you have that rapport, when you build that rapport with, like, I can go to the ER now and they're like, oh, did you get that infusion? Or is that why you're here? Are you going through, what I'm saying? Like, they know me. Yeah. And they work with me. Mm-hmm. So I don't have a bad experience every time. So now I'm not waiting, to the very, very, well, I do wait until the last minute to go. But, before it would be like until I was knocking at death's door because I didn't want to go. Yeah. But now it's like, okay, I need to go.
It's a bad habit of ours. I'm not coming for nobody. I do the same thing. My parents will be like, they will testify. I will wait till I literally cannot move. I'm like, I'm not going. Yeah. So that is my problem. And that's why when I go to the ER, it sucks, but I just have to grit my teeth because that was my choice.
Right. Right, exactly.
And the fact that, the doctor has to order the med, the nurse has to literally walk to the med room to get it and it takes time. And even if they get me immediately, it's still 10 minutes. That feels like an eternity. But that's at the end of the day, it was my bad. Yeah. And I know that people are doing the best that they can. And like you said, they know you. But at the end of the day, for healthcare workers, it shouldn't matter if you know the patient or not. It's beneficial. No, and you would think it would help. It doesn't always help that they know you. Because when I lived in Gwinnett, that was the only hospital I went to. I wasn't there frequently, but I was there, you should still recognize my chart and read my history. Right. Right. But even if I'm not a regular patient, it shouldn't matter. Right. You treat the person that's in front of you.
Exactly. What were you saying, Jennifer?
No, I was saying it shouldn't matter that they know me, but I'm glad that they do, and they know that I'm not up there with no bull, Yeah. Yeah. And I'm respectful, and they're respectful, so we have that common respect for each other. And I think a lot of times, as warriors, we are getting there to, at the point where we're in so much pain.
You're already agitated.
Patience.
And one thing is going to set you off. Yeah. But to the warriors, I know it's hard, but just take a deep breath. Let it out. Try to be patient. Because I'm not going to say they, I'm going to include myself. We are not out to get you. I promise you. We are not, twiddling our thumbs. It's our job to take care of people. Right. For the most part, that's what we're here to do. Whether somebody has a bias or not, we're going to take care of the patient. It's beneficial if they don't have those biases because they're going to take care of you, but you're going to feel something. Yeah. But just try to take a deep breath because I know there's words out there. They brag about getting security called on them and blah, 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 and all these things. I'm like, that's not cute. Because you making it real hard for me. I don't go to the ER often, but when I do, I'm real mad. I'm not mad at the doctor. I'm mad at you because you made it real hard for my life.
I don't even go to the regular emergency room. I know a lot of people don't like Grady's acute care, but I go there even if the nurses have at least heard of sickle cell working in the acute care. You may not know what it is to a degree, but if I'm there, I'm finna teach you. After I get these
men. And that's another thing because it's like it's the same thing with racism. They're like, I shouldn't have to teach you.
You're right.
But who's gonna teach them? Right. If not you, you are the expert. I'm the expert of Candis St.John. I don't know about you.
And Jennifer's mom.
So I'm not gonna get mad at the doctor and the nurse that they don't understand the way my body works. Right. Like I shouldn't have to tell you. Who else is gonna tell them? How else are they gonna know?
And I guess a lot of them feel like with sickle cell, they should know.
Oh, they should.
But then it always goes back to sickle cell being, it impacts us differently.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't mind saying, hey, this is what works for me, or even this is what's going on with me. I know it's not normal,
I'm not
and
gonna
that's why
lecture
they
you
ask
about
you.
doses, because that's why that triggers
Right.
them. My doctor wrote me a letter. That's why I said get a relationship with your physician. He wrote me a letter, gave me his cell phone number.
Okay, good.
When you go to the ER, you let them know. He wrote a letter telling them this is, because I'm like, I don't want to tell them. They're going to think I'm seeking. So this is a letter from my doctor. This is his recommended dose. Boom, boom. He's in your system. Knock it out.
But I've heard that some ER doctors don't even pay that no mind.
Well, that's where it comes to education. It's a vicious
Say
cycle.
that again.
I think it just depends on who you get. I know, like, they may not do what's in my chart, but if I call my pulmonologist when I go to the ER, like when I'm on the way, he'll get in there and like put my orders in before I even get back there. He'll
That's
like,
what I'm saying. You have to develop that relationship.
circumvent some of that madness back there.
Can you say his name to give him a slick shout out? Because he's like,
You know, I love Dr. Chad Miller at Piedmont.
All right, Piedmont.
Because
we see you.
He is the best. Like, he's not even my doctor, and Jennifer always tells me about him, and I'm like, oh, I want to go see him, but I don't have pulmonology issues, so it's like, but I would like to have a doctor more like him, because
you need
having
people,
that relationship.
You have to build that relationship. You need people to be in your corner.
Yeah.
It's like building a team. You have your family, your friends, and your healthcare providers. They're an important part of the team.
And it's nice that I've personally built a relationship with other people outside the nurses and doctors, specifically at Grady. So if I need anything, hey, such and such, they not, what's going on, da-da-da-da-da. So it's nice to just have that relationship.
You do good and good comes back. That's why I know you want to curse people out, but just try to refrain from it.
Yeah.
I mean, if they deserve it, I'm not going to give you permission. You know what I'm saying?
They feel like, oh, they deserve it.
They deserved it. But I feel like just give people a chance.
Yeah.
And I feel like a lot of times we're not given a chance.
And then being in pain like completely changes our mood. I think that being in pain and taking the prescription meds, they both change our mood.
Yeah, meds change your mood. I know I can get angry, but when I'm in the hospital, I definitely take some deep breath, because taking it out on them is not going to help me. At the end of the day, cursing out the nurses is not going to work in your favor. At the end of the day,
not any faster.
It's going to make you. It's going to make you feel good for 10 seconds, but it's not going to help the situation.
I feel like they're going to be spiteful. I feel like they're going to take even
more.
I think they're going to take even longer to get me.
Because I feel like, I'm not judging anybody, but healthcare workers are put up on a pedestal. By the end of the day, we're human.
Yeah.
We're people. So if you curse me out, I mean, I have worked down the street from here. It gets real. But what can I do? I have to take it.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah.
So it's like, be nice to everyone. Do good and good comes back.
Yeah.
I don't name drop. I don't tell people I'm a nurse. I try not to. But it's worked in my benefit, thankfully, because I feel like the healthcare community in Atlanta is small. So I might see a familiar face. So it does, thankfully, work in my favor to be a nurse, because I see a lot of my coworkers around town, and that has worked in my favor, thankfully. Shout out to all y'all who's got me through the triage line. But yeah, and I feel like I don't say I'm a nurse because I shouldn't have to.
You're right.
I shouldn't have to.
You're right.
If I see you slipping up, I'm gonna tell you. Like, I know what you're doing. I know what's going on. But yeah,
Is sickle cell why you became a nurse?
it could. I mean, intrinsically, it could be part of the reason. Okay. My aunt's a nurse, and I remember her taking me to work, and I just always said my whole life, something people say they want to be a basketball player. I just always said I was going to be in healthcare. I said I was going to be a doctor or a nurse, like, pretty much my entire life.
Okay.
And so that's what I did. Here I am.
We're going to do our sponsors, and then we're going to let Candis take us out. We're going to do our shoe game after the sponsors.
Shoe game.
Hold on.
We've been having so much fun.
So we want to thank Who we got? Apex Museum. And Mr. Dan Moore. Normally our open mic would be there at the historic Apex Museum, but of course with everything going on, it's closed right now. But we still suggest you guys check them out at least online and be ready to go when they open back up. We also want to thank Kids Stop Daycare and Learning Center with Miss Tanya Robinson on Camilton Road. She is open. She has a nice setup for how the kids are learning and virtual learning and all that. And we want to thank Black Professional Network and what they have done for us. So thank you. We want to express how we must wear sneakers or up our sneaker game because
we're doing shoe cam today. I'm so
we're doing
excited.
a bit of shoe cam.
It's blue box versus red box today.
I
like
think
my friends
they're
like
pretty
to
dope.
say. This is double-sided.
Nice.
Those special Nikes.
We were talking about how we have to adjust our wardrobe because of sickle cell and what it does to us. If y'all see me around in these Atlanta streets all hoodied up and scarfed up and it's not winter quite yet, just
My
know.
business.
It's my swag.
Right.
Like she said,
that's
mind
what it
your
is.
business.
Well, hopefully you don't get close enough to smell the ointment, but it's like ointment season. So, you know, it's fall.
Oh, man.
So Candis,
That's
take
good.
us out with
Mia asked me about writing about sickle cell, and I told her there are some that they hint to sickle cell, but it's not necessarily a sickle cell poem. I wrote this piece to get it off of my chest. I didn't want to keep writing about it, so I put everything in it and I let it go, and that was that. I wrote this piece, I believe it was 2010. I was in the hospital. I was just getting into nursing school. This was like get into the meat of it, starting my clinicals. I was ready. I was excited. Like, we're getting to do some real stuff. And I got sick like 3 weeks into the semester. But I came back. But what happened was they gave me a blood transfusion, and I had a delayed reaction to that. So that's something that you healthcare workers need to look out for, because I was in the hospital like 3 or so weeks. Everyone thought I was going to die.
wow.
I was so out of it, I don't really recall the series of events, but I do remember there was a day I was in the ICU and the code blue. That code blue means when someone's dying or dead. Yeah. It kept going off, and this was a day I had quite a few family members and friends there. They were, in the waiting room, and everyone thought it was me because I was that sick.
Wow. So
I wrote this piece shortly thereafter because I had to get it off of my chest. It's explaining the experience of what it feels like to be in a crisis, and also what that does for your life as a whole. I wore this t-shirt today on purpose. It says survivor. And you hear this often, like cancer survivors, HIV/AIDS survivors. People say, I survived. And I was thinking today, that a lot of us won't be able to say that we survived, because there's cures technically, but for many of us, we can't go through that because we might not make it through. Right. So survive is like present tense for us always. Right. It's every day making a conscious decision to get out of bed. For me, putting on my uniform, swiping my badge, I'm surviving every day. I can't say I survived it because it's a daily thing. Right. Every day is not miserable, but it happens. So this piece is from my book of tears. It's called A Life in Crisis. I come in screaming. All I get is diluted morphine. See, fake smiles, hear IV pumps beeping. All the while my dreams are fleeting, anger seething, heart beating, a steady pounding of pain. The sludge that is my blood flushing these accursed cells through my veins. Pain shooting from my chest to my back. The only comforting thought is the next breath be my last. I've spent so many days barely existing, just struggling to get by. Talking to a God I barely believe in somewhere up in the sky. My most fervent prayers that I'd fall asleep and just die. But time and time again, I wake up to the oh so real nightmare that I'm still alive. So I lay here tears streaming from my eyes, your care desensitized, my dignity compromised, yet I patiently wait for a resolution to be devised. No longer will you ignore the cries of this lonely girl, invisible, misunderstood, trapped in a vicious cycle of pain, shame, and defeat coursing through my blood, half living like the half cells running through my veins. Try as I might, seems like all my efforts are in vain, taking 2 steps forward, only to be knocked back down again. I swear I can't win. I'm just trying to make sense of my life, desperately wanting to make the best of my life. This can't be life. Is this really it? What grim future do I face if this is my dismal present? What a present. What a gift, this gift of life I have playing. If only I could hit rewind and hit reset. Go back as a thought inside my parents' head and leave me there. Just as a thought instead of this. I look into the mirror and see a beautiful covering over a rotting corpse, steadily falling apart. Just take my arms and look at the marks. You can literally connect the dots to the hurt in my heart. I've never been whole. I'm more like a fraction, just a heap of parts. Bones breaking, body aching, daily getting worse, hence the curse. A broken spirit, a tortured mentality, a bruised soul barely existing due to a genetic technicality. Sliced cells running around my body, doesn't know what to do with them. Can't function due to a glitch in the system that leaves me sick, but at the end of the day, I refuse to be a victim. This thing that cripples me, yes, may even bind me, I promise you, it will never define me. I'm a daughter, I'm a sister, I'm a friend, I'm a nurse, I'm a scholar, my thirst for learning never ends. I'm talented and beautiful, I'm more than what you see. I'm not a sickler, and I'm damn sure more than a disease. I march to the beat of my own drum, daring to cross the line. I would give up, but every time I look at the clock, it's just never been that time. When people look at me, a fighter is what they see. I say, don't be too impressed. I'm only strong because I have to be. So I live life freely, and I love aggressively. So no one can ever say that this disease got the best of me. Thank you.
Mic drop.
Definitely.
Thank you guys. I'm so grateful for you guys having me on tonight.
Yes.
And sharing our
I
stories.
really appreciate you being here.
Yeah, and I also want to say something else. It is our very good friend Doug's birthday, and I still wanted to say happy birthday. We lost him some time ago, but he was what sent me and Jennifer like, we need to do this. You know what I'm saying?
Catalyst to everything that we are at this moment.
Yes. So I definitely had to shout him out, and it was crazy because last year on the 28th as well, it was a Saturday. So we tried to do it the last Saturday in September, and then because of everything going on, we had to do it today, still the 28th. So definitely happy birthday, Doug.
Happy birthday.
So yes, make sure to follow us on Instagram at SCA365, on YouTube at SCA365, Facebook, Sickle Cell Awareness 365, Manifest TV, everywhere, and what else? Is that it?
And make sure you look at the link that we put on the watch party so you can check out how to make a bid for the Miles Davis painting if you are interested.
Alrighty.
I'm on all those same platforms at I.Am.C.Saint. Facebook and Instagram and YouTube. I.Am.C.Saint. Again, you can find me on Amazon, Tidal, iTunes, Apple Music, all those things. I Am C.Saint. I'm so grateful to have been here. I hope you guys learned something.
Yes.
Because like I said, it's not about us. It's about you. And our stories might be able to save somebody's life out there. And that's truly the goal of why I share my story, why I talk, why I show up every day, is for someone else. So I hope that you all out there did learn something.
Nice. And we'll definitely put your links in the comment, in the caption, so they can check it out.
Somewhere down there. It will be there.
Thank you so much, Candis.
Thank you, guys.
Awesome. All right. See y'all later. I don't know.
Yeah. Deadly combo. Deadly combo. Black Prophet, Charlie Black, AR the Prophet.
AR the Prophet, Charlie Black, a deadly combination. Hold up, I don't think they heard me. I said AR the Prophet, Charlie Black, a deadly combination. Hey yo, turn me up a little. We good. AR the Prophet, Charlie Black, a deadly combination. It's been long overdue, I know the streets been waiting. Which takes a lot of patience, cause you never rush straight. This one's for the record, but going down history in the making. AR the Prophet, Charlie Black, a deadly combination. It's been long overdue, I know the streets been waiting.